The reason I left is they gave me a contract I could refuse. Right. I like to say that. It's just the TV biz. Julie goes, hey, you know what I thought of? We're going to do our coffee shop. I'm like, oh, okay, another business. Great. What do we do? How are we going to do this? A lot of people don't know how options work, but it's like gambling. We've never experienced this. I had a $50,000 paycheck.
Right. All right. Yeah, welcome back to AFG Update. Today we have Scott Zediker with us. Scott has been with us for 6 years now.
On my 6th year.
On your 6th year.
Yeah. Turning my 6th year on, I guess, in September.
Yeah, I know it's kind of right at your contract date. By the time this airs, it will probably be starting your 6th contract year. Time's flown by.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. I remember whenever you were first introduced to us, we went to one of those spring training games, and Stacy had brought you in, and that was really your intro to the firm. So you and Stacy had worked together at Wink prior to. Why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about your experience kind of pre-joining us and kind of your background? I know you're a fellow Buckeye, so that's always fun to talk about on here. But talk about your experience before, and then we'll kind of talk about how you got to us and where the career's taken you.
Yeah, I don't want to back up too far, but I will start when I moved to Fort Myers. I came here in 2003. I was out in Southern California. I was on air in Santa Barbara. I was a meteorologist on TV. Santa Barbara weather obviously is pretty boring. You know what's going on. It's cloudy in the morning and sunny in the afternoon. But I had some roots in the Bonita Springs area, as I used to vacation here as a kid in the 80s. And so when they called me, I sent some tapes out, and I moved here to Fort Myers in 2003. So I had an opportunity to do the weekend weather at Wink Television. So I joined the team there, and it was me and Jim Farrell and Skip Cordis was the morning guy. But anyway, started there on the weekends in 2003. Stacy Adams actually joined the firm, or joined Wink TV, I should say, in 2004. So we became close and friendly at that point because she was doing the mornings and I was kind of filling in doing the mornings. So I knew of Stacy, right? So let's fast forward. So I was at Wink for 17 years. I left in 2020. The reason I left is they gave me a contract I could refuse. Right. I like to say that. It's just the TV biz. It's not what it used to be. Stacy reached out to me, and Stacy had left prior to that. She left, I think, in 2015, went to a company that didn't work out for her, and then she landed with you guys at AFG, I think, in 2016.
Correct.
Somewhere around there. So she reached out to me just to be friendly and said, hey, how's it going? I know what the TV biz is like. People get eaten up and chewed out all the time, but I had longevity. I was the number 2 Met there under Jim Farrell. I was thinking I was going to move up, and next thing I know, I'm out. Right before COVID, this happened. So she reached out. This was February of 2020. I just were friendly talking. Then out of nowhere, she's like, hey, what do you plan on doing? I go, I have no clue. I'm just taking a couple months off. Right. I had some money. We were okay. We saved up. Julie, my wife, has a hair salon, and I was, I'm the kind of finance guy behind that in the background running that. So we were fine. We just had 2 babies, Olivia, who's now 7, and Lucas 8. So at the time, like 1 and 2. So now I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Right. Thought about, I wanted to kind of work for myself. I wanted to figure that out. I was real close to leaning in the construction route, believe it or not, which was insane to think about but I like it. Like, I like remodeling. I redid our house before Lucas, our first, was born, did a lot of things. I was like, I could do this. My neighbor was a general contractor. I thought about joining his team and kind of working. Then the more I thought about it, it's like, this is like backbreaking work. I'm 47, 46 years old at the time or whatnot. Like, not going to happen. But she said, why don't you, and she kind of brought it up saying, like, come to think of it, why don't you come over to AFG? Why don't you just come check it out? You like doing stocks and investments. You're good with money. You and Jim always, he taught me how to trade options back in the day. So I was literally doing option trading on the side, just with my own money, which was crazy in itself, that if I mean, a lot of people don't know how options work, but it's like gambling. I think so, right? I mean, unless you're doing it right. I wasn't doing it right. I was doing it probably all wrong at the time, but I didn't know anybody, but I was making money. It was like kind of fun until I lost money. So she goes, come on over. We have this baseball game. Well, I'm going to get you tickets. Why don't you come in and you can meet Mike and Jerry and coaches and
Right.
all right. So, and that's where it started. So I came to that baseball game of February of 2020.
Right.
I think it's right before COVID really kicked in, right?
Just before.
It had to have been,
like
right?
just before. Yeah.
Before. I mean, luckily we're in Florida. Things were a little different here. But yeah, I talked to Jerry. I remember talking to Jerry vividly going, I wasn't sure what was going on. It was very informal, but Stacy goes, hey, Jerry, this is Scott. I want you to meet Scott. He'd like to come in and maybe you could, see if he's a fit for the agency. And I remember talking to Jerry he goes, well, how about like tomorrow at 9 or the next day at 9? I'm like, all right, fine, I'll come in. And then I talked to you, of course, and we talked to Ohio State because you're a Buckeye, I'm a Buckeye, OH. So it was one of these where we kind of hit it off and I was like, this sounds like a cool place. Like I had no idea what I'm getting myself into, but I didn't know at the time what I wanted to do. So I was open.
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of started it, came in the AFG, and then here I am 6 years later.
Yeah. And it's funny. I think that's really the path that a lot of people come in with. Like nobody's like, oh man, I want to go and work in financial services. Right. Or like, this is where it's at. You had a full-blown career kind of all over the country, being at top of your game in kind of meteorology, went to school for it. And then, like you said, you get a contract that you can refuse. And people just really, I don't want to say they devalue you, but just in that business, it's just, okay, there's somebody younger, there's somebody newer, there's somebody cheaper that can come in. And regardless of how much experience you have, it just doesn't really matter. So you were exploring, talked about construction, and then met with us and really kind of dove headfirst into what we do. Your dad was in the business.
Yep.
Kind of more on the property casualty side.
Yeah, he was a State Farm agent.
But you had some reference of what we do and kind of the work ethic that it took to come in. And I think that's really good. The next kind of topic that I want to talk about is kind of coming in, putting in that work ethic, and then really talking about some of the early achievements that you hit. Because for people that know, you've come in and you've hit a high mark each and every year. You've been part of $1 Million Roundtable. You hit our Leaders Club internally. You've joined leadership. You've hit the Presidential Citation Award with a Guardian the last couple of years. So you've really, in a very short period of time, kind of climbed a lot of rungs, and really just in a 5-year period of 5 completed years compared to 17 years on TV. Talk about kind of the personal evolution of what you've gained from the firm, as well as the monetary difference in what happens in our career versus where you think you're at the top of something else and what that could mean.
Yeah. So, with TV, and going back to the weather, I was second under Jim Farrell forever, right? At the time, TV, when I started in 2003, was a lot smaller, now with social and everything. I think the Wink weather teams almost have 7 or 8 meteorologists now. When I started, it was 3. Yeah. So going all through that, I feel like it was one of these where back in the day of TV, when Jim would step away, I would be the next, like I was the fill-in guy. I was the guy there when he was gone. So the tendency is then that person moves up, becomes chief when he steps away. He was a couple years away from retiring, and the writing was on the wall. That was where my move was going to be. And it's like you said, the younger people come in, doesn't matter experience anymore as much, less pay. Like they hold the cards. So you're out, like either you're in or out. And it just kind of threw me for a loop. And speaking of money wise, I had climbed the ladder from, wasn't a lot of money, but at the time I was climbing my way up. I was just under 6 figures there. So I was like making decent money. Julie's making decent money at her salon and the business itself. We were getting by. And then when that happens, you're like, okay, what do we do? So when I joined the firm and to me, within those couple months of me taking some time, figuring out, COVID hit, allowed me to test up to join. Then it was, okay, now I'm in this. What am I going to do? How am I going to succeed in this? And just talking with you and Jerry and coaches and Stacy, who brought me in, I did a lot of work with her at the beginning, and she was, it couldn't have been a better fit. I feel like we call each other like brother or sister. We've known each other forever. And it's one of these where we poke fun of each other, we yell at each other, we get in fights. I mean, we literally are like brothers and sisters at work sometimes. And what's crazy is I couldn't have followed better shoes, because she was kind of reaching out on her own. So she was doing a lot of joint work with other people, but it allowed me to put my head down and said, okay, if I'm going to do this, I had to do this right. What do I do? So I quickly studied up on, I want to do meetings by myself. I want to learn this as fast as I can, because the faster you get it under your belt, you're building the confidence, and you could hit these goals. Now the goals, like you mentioned, all these things, PCA, Client Builder, Leaders Club, like I feel that just comes naturally when you work. If you put your head down and you work, you're going to achieve these. And I don't want to say they're easy to hit, but I feel like if you are working, you're going to have those opportunities to hit those, because you're like one case away of hitting, let's say, Leaders Club. If you're doing in the work and getting the activity and building your client base up, naturally it's going to happen. And then you hit a couple of these bigger clients with, they're investing more money and buying the proper insurance. Next thing you know, oh, I'm there. Right. I mean, there was one year I blew it out of the park, and then that leads to the money. It's like, here's me coming into the agency at 2020. I was making, let's just say, just under six figures. I was around 90,000 at Wink or whatnot, something like that. And back then I thought it was like, I was doing good. Like, this was great. Yeah. Now I look back going, I can't believe I survived on what me and my wife made back then with two kids, and what we got by, but it wasn't what it is now. Now, we fast forward to the end of 21, and then that's when I kind of got my feet wet and started doing better. Then 22 hit, and here we go. I'm hitting all these achievements. I hit Leaders Club, and then I see the bank account. Like literally, my coaches come up to me, and I don't want to get into details of how the contract works and everything, but you get a basket of money after you build your clientele up. Money kind of goes into another account, and then this account sits there, and he comes to me every 15 days. Hey, you have X amount of dollars in this. Do you want it? And I'm like, I don't need it. Can you just leave it there for now? Wasn't sure how it worked. Yeah. And next thing I know, there's thousands and thousands of dollars in there. And then it's like, you know what? I'm going to pull that money. I'm going to pull one month, and it was just insane. And I told Julie this. I go, we've never experienced this. I had a $50,000 paycheck. I'm like, how did this happen? It's just work and determination and putting my head down, getting to know what I needed to do, and then getting better at the planning process, just treating each client fairly and putting stuff together. It just happens.
And I think that's the biggest thing in our business. It's more helping people, and the money comes. It's not thinking about the amount of money and then going to help the clients. It is 100% a factor of, if you go out and help as many people as you can, you're going to wake up one day and be in a situation where you look and there's a giant bucket of money, and you're like, oh wow, how did this all get here? And this is crazy. I think another big thing is kind of coming from TV into our world is we have so much residual income. So whenever clients are happy with us, they stay. We have reoccurring revenue on the investment and the insurance side. I think now, kind of 6 years in, come this next month, you're waking up to probably similar, if not more money than your best years when you were on TV, just before you even show up to work.
Oh yeah. That's baseline. That's like baseline now, which is just crazy to think about. And what's nice about it is, like you said, you're helping these clients, and then I can go back to my first clients when I probably sucked, but they trusted me, And they're like, okay, we're going to put a plan together, and I'm going back to them and almost replanning. I mean, it's all good. What they did was part of the plan, and they're good
for where they were at the time. And now they're making more, and now you go and do more sophisticated stuff.
And it's great with our, with the wealth building accounts, how these folks my clients are on this, and they're saving money. And I get to go back to them and say, listen, remember we talked about this 4 years ago, that you couldn't save money. Well, now you have all this money in this account. What do you want to do with it? And they're like, I don't know. What should I? And it just opens the door to those conversations that, well, I think you should put into this investment, or we could look at expanding the insurance and that protection piece. We could look at some income on these things we call structured notes. Like all of this stuff, they're all like, wow, this is great. Like, and it does bring that opportunity. You're helping people. Next thing you know, your bucket's filling up on your end too.
Right.
And that's what's great. And then they're referring friends to you and other people. I think you should talk to this guy, because even when you started in this business, I was weary, but I liked you and I trusted you. But now this is great stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just grow your business more.
Yeah, it's really just a naturally occurring progression of go out, meet people, help them, get introduced to new people through the referrals or introductions of our existing clients, help them. And then obviously they're rewarded with kind of the growth of the situations that we're putting in place, and then we're compensated for what we're doing to help. And I think that opens up a ton of doors. So from your standpoint, kind of the progression from you came into the firm and you were a producer, and then you really kind of stepped into a leadership role, because I think following you right after COVID, we brought in a substantial amount of younger advisors. And like you said, one of the biggest things that you focused on was getting the process down very quickly, understanding how the software worked, doing kind of a basic level of planning and getting it down very succinctly. And a lot of our newer advisors were looking for help, and you were kind of the natural place to go to facilitate that. Talk about kind of, because when you came in, I mean, I don't think, I would bet that one of the farthest things from your mind was like, I'm going to mentor these young people. You're like, I'm going to come in here and work, and I have 2 little kids at home.
Right.
And now, 5 years later, there are people coming to you and really relying their practice on what you can help them grow.
A career in financial services is about freedom and relationships, both for you and the clients you serve. By building intentional, authentic connections with people, we not only create an environment where advisors can succeed, but also puts you in control of your future. Financial success looks different to everyone, and it's more about the process than the numbers. If you are someone that is looking to make a difference in your life and the people closest to you, go to the website below and schedule a conversation today. Back to the podcast.
It was interesting. So when I think it was the first 6 months, so I started in I want to say right after COVID in May 2020, I was starting to take meetings, joint work. It really picked up. I was very successful. I mean, the TV side helped that I knew people in the community, new businesses, but I was literally pulling straws, grabbing everybody I could to get in and join, whether you or Stacy or a joint work partner, going through what I do now with these young advisors. So 6 months in, I started, I think by January, February, I started taking a few meetings on my own. I failed on a few. One, I recall one coming in, and I'm thinking, I got this. And it's really, it still burns me, because I want to get the guy back, and I probably could reach back out. But, you're young, you're new, but you're thinking, you're kind of overconfident. They come walking in, and the guy made, I want to say, $250, $260 a year. His wife's pulling in 100, so we're about $350. Yeah. And I stopped in my chair. I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this? I'm used to working with people making like 90, 100,000. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, oh no, I'm over my head. I have no idea how to plan for this. And that's how, at the beginning, I don't want to say I suck, but you just don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
Right. And you think you know it, and you go in and you're like, oh no. So I worked my way through the meeting.
Yeah.
I feel like he was going to come back and everything, but it wasn't the best. It didn't come out right. I worked on his numbers. I actually probably came to you or Jerry, and kind of we went over kind of this is what we can do. Perfect. But then by that time he was lost. I probably did something, said something, or did something wrong, but water under the bridge at that point. So, then I got better. And then during that time, I remember you guys saying, hey, we have this whole batch of people coming in. You're going to do some joint work with these people. And I'm thinking, wow, well, when did this happen? I just failed on this meeting a month earlier. Now I'm going to take these people under my wing. But But I was fine. You know, you learn a lot. You learn so quick when you fail like that.
Right.
Like within the next day, I was like, that's never happening again. And I retraced my steps and got better. But then once these younger guys come in, or older, whatever their age, or the new agents, it wasn't necessarily like, hey, I'm knocking out of the park, but I'm going to show you the right way in the process.
Right.
You guys have to take that baton and run with it, but just follow me I can get you through that part. And then every month goes by, you get better, and then they start getting better. Then they're taking the baton. Now, some don't make it, some fail. Right.
Yeah.
The ones that have the drive and they understand it, they're going to take that and they're going to do what I did in a way. And there's some of those agents still around.
For sure.
So that's where what's awesome. And what's nice is it doesn't have to be difficult.
No.
Like, I don't think it's, you know, I was grateful that you and Jerry and Mike coaches said, all right, you're going to do the training. You're going to help these people out. And a little shocked at the same time, but then I was like, no, I could do this. I mean, it's doesn't have to be rocket science. It's not.
No.
It's pretty simple. Get the process. Here's what we do. Here's how I do my first meeting. Here's how I do my second meeting. A lot of them are changing. You know, you never know what you're getting when they walk in the room, but you're able to pivot and kind of deal with it. But then they're sitting there. They aren't even talking. They're just learning.
Right.
And then it's their choice to kind of move. What do they want to do it by themselves, or they want to keep coming to me?
Right.
Or you, or someone else that they fit with. It's up to them to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's the nice thing about the firm is that we don't force anybody in any direction. We want people, we want to treat it like a medical residency. So within the first year or so, you can go out and spread your wings and do it on your own. Right. You're capable and you have the knowledge base to do it. Now, we have some extremely successful advisors that are still doing a lot of stuff in teams or working with partners or doing things joint.
For sure.
Because they feel comfortable. And I've done this for 15 years. There are very, very few pieces of business that at this point, because of my role in the firm on leadership, my role in the firm with working with a bunch of junior advisors, that I'm doing something and it's just me on there. It's just there's typically somebody else involved from an ease of doing business standpoint because of the number of clients I have, because of the number of people that I want to make sure that we service the proper way. So some people, I think at the beginning, look at that like I don't want to say like a weakness, like I have to bring somebody out.
Right.
I look at it as whenever I talk to my clients now is you're going to get my whole team. My team consists of almost 30 advisors, and the person that has the best personality match for you, the person that's going to give you the best client service, the person that's going to check all of these boxes for you is going to come with me and sit on the meeting because I'm spread pretty thin.
Right.
I'm filming these podcasts, which is really fun. We're having a good time doing. I'm doing the leadership. I'm running training. I'm meeting with clients. I'm traveling for Guardian from the standpoint of being like a leadership representative for them. So there's just a lot of different things that are being done that for my clients, it's not fair just to say, hey, you just get me. And whenever I'm gone for an hour filming something like this, or whenever I'm on a plane, or whenever I'm doing something with my family, that it's just everything's paused. You get a team of people that are constantly working for you, and you're going to have a response in a quick period of time. One of the cool things about Guardian that we've now both taken advantage of you've talked about Julie and being an entrepreneur and having her own hair salon, but one of the really cool things that you guys have done over the last couple of years is this is your main business, but you've also kind of stepped out into another world of buying another business,
right,
and starting something. And I think that's really cool in our model is people want to continue to be serial entrepreneurs. So you can come here, you can work, you can be with your clients that are constantly creating and doing innovative things, and then kind of go on your path too to do other things. Like financial services is phenomenal, but it's not the end all be all. Like we want passive income. We want to have things that are fun, things that we can do in our lives. Talk a little bit about the project that you're working on that probably by the time this airs will be pretty close to opening.
Yeah, I hope so. It's been 2.5 years. So what happened was 2.5 years ago after Hurricane Ian, we're obviously on the riverside in downtown. We had 4 feet of water in her salon. So for 2 months, we had to close down, rebuild. We did it. And then the series of last year, we had 2 floods. Like we're professionals at this point, getting some water in and cleaning up. But anyway, so after Hurricane Ian, a lot of people probably know this building. It's the old Fresh Roast. Bob Bennett owned the fresh roast, Bennett's Coffee, basically.
Yeah,
It's fresh
it was a
roast.
donut shop.
The donut shop, coffee shop. And I know Bob from my Wink days back in the day. He was on 96.9 in the mornings, him and Gina Birch. I was on his show a lot in the mornings doing the weather. We'd have conversations like this on air. It was awesome. It was fun. Just a morning show.
Yeah.
So I remember calling him back up. He listed the building for sale. The business was already gone. He owned the building. So I called him and said, Bob, me and Julie actually cut his husband's hair, believe it or not, and knows his daughter.
Okay.
So it was just like a small community.
Sure.
So we're like, Bob, we're going to put an offer on your building. And he goes, really? Yeah, go for it. It needs a lot of work and all this. Okay, yeah, we know that. So he took our offer because he had many other offers.
Right.
But he liked us and he goes, so he took our offer. We bought this building 2.5 years ago. A lot of fixing up to do. Oh my gosh, this building, Army Corps built it back in 1950. It was added on twice. It was, if you guys know the building, you know where it is, but it's perfect now. We owned it. We put a lot of money in, got it fixed up. As we closed on that, we were on our plane. Me and you and a couple other people from the agency were heading out to Vegas.
Okay.
We were on the plane. The closing happened that morning. Julie goes, hey, you know what I thought of? We are not moving the salon there because originally we were going to move the hair salon there. We're going to get out of the renting situation and go move and build it for a salon.
Right.
We're going to do our coffee shop. I'm like, oh, okay, another business. Great. What do we do? How are we going to do this? She goes, I'm going to run it. We'll take care of it. Remember, we always wanted that. This is perfect for it. It was already caught. Oh, all right. So within 24 hours of our closing, me thinking the salon was going to move there, became a coffee shop.
Right.
So yes, we've been building that out for 2.5 years. And it looks like we're slated to open in October, somewhere around there. Like in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have the kitchen fully operational. So, and then just backtracking on that, what is really nice about business I'm in is I'm helping clients do financial services, their plan and all that. I dove in 2020 with my own plan. For me to understand how all this works, I felt like I had to do it on myself. So Julie became a client. I became a client. My kids became a client. Like, unfortunately, the Zedeker household is a client of me. Right?
Yeah.
So got LBS, linked everything, started populating everything, buying the insurance, putting investments in, getting the notes, like just moving my IRAs, just doing everything. And it allowed us to do this. Right. If I didn't do this, we would have had no position to do what we're doing now.
Right.
As far as money saved, leveraging our money, borrowing against our own stuff. Like, it's amazing. The plan actually worked.
Right.
And it all in 5 years.
Right. Yeah.
That's what is. So it
didn't take 20 years to have this come to fruition. You started it within a short period of time, just like we tell our clients, you can start to use this money pretty quickly. And especially in the interest rate environment that we were in, you guys were, I don't want to say bailed out, but it heavily helped with being able to use things the way that you did compared to going to a traditional lending source.
Exactly. Like, I didn't have to go to any bank.
Thank you for joining us today. Through our shorts and through our full-length content, we try to put out the most relevant material for our viewers, for potential advisors, for people in the industry, or just anybody with financial interests in general. If anything resonated today that you want more information on, go ahead and click the link below me. Click on Talk to a Financial Professional, and one of our professional advisors will reach out to you and have a one-on-one conversation with your personal situation. Now back to the podcast. I think that's the biggest thing is we don't know what opportunities are going to come up for our clients.
I had no clue.
But we know that things will happen.
Yeah.
So
life happens.
For them to have the ability to make decisions like that is really, really important. And for us, I think that's one of the biggest things that I do too, is being able to show my personal plan of what I've done and how I bought real estate and how we've expanded the business with the planning that we've done to make it very easy for clients to understand. So we're really excited to hear how the opening of the coffee shop goes. You've had immense success in your early years. I'm sure at some point you'll be back on here to kind of give us a follow-up on
I'll give you an update.
But thank you for being here today.
Yeah.
It was great to catch up and talk, and best of luck on the coffee shop.
Thanks, man. It was great being here.
Okay.
Material discussed is meant for general informational purposes only. Michael and Scott are registered representatives and financial advisors of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, PAS, OSJ, 14021, Metropolis Ave, Fort Myers, Florida, 33912, 239-561-2900. Securities products and advisory services offered through PAS, member FINRA, SIPC, financial representatives of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, Guardian, New York, NY. PAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Alliance Financial Group is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. Michael CA Insurance License 0M21715. AR Insurance License 158383330. Scott CA Insurance License 4079064. 8329261.1 expires 8/27.